The spirit of mammon, the hidden power, keeping you poor. Why does it always feel like you are running, but never moving forward? You work, you pray, you try again, and still lack follows you like a shadow. But what if poverty is not just a condition of life? What if it is a spiritual force working against you? Jesus revealed something most people ignored. He did not say, "You cannot serve God and money." He said, "You cannot serve God and mammon," because mammon is not money. Mammon is a spirit, a false master, a dark power that rules through fear, debt, anxiety, comparison, and the silent belief that you will always be behind. It whispers, "This is all you'll ever be." It tightens your chest when you think about tomorrow. It keeps your hands empty while making your mind tired. And the most dangerous thing about mammon is this: most people never realize it is there. But today, the veil is being lifted. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not meant for survival mode. There is a battle over your life, and it is time you discovered who has really been pulling the strings and how to take your life back. Chapter 1. What is the spirit of mammon? Most people think mammon is just another word for money, but in the Bible, mammon is never treated as an object. It is treated as a master. Jesus did not say, "Be careful with money." He said, "You cannot serve God and mammon." That one sentence reveals everything. Mammon is not a coin in your hand. It is a voice in your mind, a power that demands loyalty, a system that wants your worship. In ancient times, mammon was understood as the spirit behind wealth, greed, fear, and dependence on material things for security. It represented trust placed in riches instead of in God, and that battle has never stopped. It simply became more sophisticated. Today, mammon doesn't just whisper through gold or silver. It speaks through credit cards. It speaks through debt. It speaks through comparison. It speaks through the pressure to look successful while your soul is exhausted and your spirit is afraid. Mammon does not just attack the rich. In fact, it often rules the poor even more tightly. Why? Because when you have nothing, mammon convinces you that money is everything. It becomes your dream, your obsession, your God, even without you realizing it. It convinces you that happiness is on the other side of a bank balance, that peace is tied to a number, that your value is measured by what you own or what you don't. And in that moment, mammon already has its grip on you. This is why Jesus spoke with such urgency. He understood that mammon is not just about wealth, it is about allegiance. Every day, without realizing it, you choose your master. When you panic about tomorrow, you are listening to mammon. When you tie your worth to your income, you are bowing to mammon. When fear controls your decisions, mammon is ruling. But when you trust God's provision, when you obey His voice above your anxiety, when you give, even in lack, you break mammon's authority. The spirit of mammon thrives on one thing: fear. Fear that there is not enough. Fear that God will not come through. Fear that you are on your own. But Scripture tells a different story. The same God who fed Elijah in the wilderness, who caused manna to fall from the sky, who multiplied bread and fish for a hungry crowd, and who placed a coin in the mouth of a fish to pay a tax, that God is still your provider today. And mammon hates that truth, because the moment you realize God is your source, mammon loses its power. You were not created to live by mammon's rules. You were created to live as a child of the King. And every slave who discovers they are royalty is one step away from freedom. Chapter 2. Mammon's true goal: control and fear. Most people believe mammon's goal is to make you poor. But poverty is only the surface. The real goal of mammon is control. A controlled person is not dangerous. A controlled person does not dream. A controlled person does not challenge the darkness. So mammon builds an invisible cage around your mind. Long before it touches your bank account, it teaches you to think small, to expect less, to prepare for disappointment, to assume that struggle is normal. It trains your mind to stay in survival mode. And survival mode is not living, it is simply existing. You wake up not thinking about purpose, calling, or impact, only about bills, rent, food, and basic needs. Your world becomes smaller and smaller until it fits inside a wallet, and that wallet is always empty, or almost empty. This is how Mammon keeps you asleep. Fear becomes your daily companion. Fear of losing what little you have. Fear of trying a new opportunity. Fear of failing. Fear of being judged. Fear of never having enough. And fear is Mammon's strongest weapon, because when you are afraid, you stop trusting God. When you are afraid, you make desperate decisions. When you are afraid, you accept less than what you were created for. Fear makes you borrow what you shouldn't. Fear makes you stay where you shouldn't. Fear makes you settle for relationships, jobs, and situations that crush your spirit. Debt is not just a financial burden. It is a spiritual chain. It ties your future to your past. It holds you hostage to what you already consumed. It forces tomorrow's energy to pay for yesterday's choices. And Mammon loves debt, because debt creates servants. The Bible warns the borrower is servant to the lender, not just financially, but spiritually. A servant does not lead. A servant does not dream. A servant does not choose freely. A servant obeys. And Mammon does not care how talented you are, how intelligent you are, or how much God potential is inside you. If it can keep you afraid, it can keep you in chains. But here is the truth Mammon hates the most. You were never created for slavery. Not to people, not to systems, not to money, and not to fear. You were created for dominion. God did not form you to be controlled by numbers on a screen or cash in a hand. He formed you to rule, to create, to build, to restore, to shine, to bless, and to multiply. This is why Mammon works so hard to crush your mind before you ever touch wealth. Because a person who knows their identity is dangerous to darkness. The moment you stop seeing yourself as just trying to survive, and start seeing yourself as a child of the King, Mammon begins to lose its grip. And maybe for the first time in your life, you're beginning to realize something powerful. It was never just about money. It was always about who would control your future. Chapter 3. Signs Mammon is operating in your life. Mammon is not always loud. It is not always obvious. In fact, the more powerful it becomes in a person's life, the quieter and more normal it feels. That is what makes it so dangerous. Most people believe spiritual attacks look dramatic. Nightmares, chaos, obvious destruction. But Mammon works differently. It hides itself in thoughts that feel reasonable, wise, even logical. It speaks in sentences like, "You can't afford that. You'll never get ahead. People like you don't become successful. Don't try. You'll only fail. There is not enough." These thoughts don't come with horns or fire. They come as your own inner voice, and that is its greatest trick. One of the clearest signs Mammon is active in your life is constant worry about money. Even when your basic needs are already met, you can never relax. You can never feel safe. You can never feel at peace. There is always another bill, another fear, another what if. Mammon feeds on anxiety. Another sign is comparison. You look at others and feel less. You see what they have, and you feel behind. You scroll through social media and feel defeated. Instead of gratitude, there is envy. Instead of peace, there is pressure. Comparison is Mammon's favorite language. Then there is self-sabotage. Opportunities appear, but something inside you pulls back. You don't apply. You don't try. You delay. You doubt. You sabotage what could have changed your life. Not because you can't succeed, but because Mammon has convinced you that you aren't allowed to. There are also generational patterns. The same financial struggles repeat through families. The same fear of lack. The same broken spending habits. The same belief, this is just who we are. But cycles do not repeat by accident. They repeat because something is feeding them. Mammon loves family lines that stay unconscious, unaware, unquestioning. And then there is the most painful sign of all, hopelessness. Not loud despair, but quiet resignation. You stop dreaming. You stop dreaming. You stop imagining a better future. You stop believing in change. You move through life on autopilot, just trying to endure another day, another week, another year. You stop expecting miracles. You stop expecting favor. You stop expecting abundance. And when hope dies, Mammon has almost won. But listen to me closely now. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, it does not mean you are doomed. It means you are becoming aware, and awareness is the first step to freedom. Because the moment you see the prison, it begins to lose its power. The moment you identify the voice, you can reject it. And the moment you realize, this is not my true voice, this is not my true identity, you are stepping out of darkness and back into the light God always intended for you. Chapter 4. How Mammon Traps Both the Poor and the Rich. Many people believe the spirit of Mammon only attacks the poor. They look at empty pockets, unpaid bills, and constant struggle, and think that is where the problem is. But the truth is more uncomfortable than that. Mammon does not care how much money you have. It only cares about one thing, your heart. For the poor, Mammon uses lack as its weapon. It wraps itself in shame and whispers, "You are nothing. You are behind. You are forgotten." It makes people feel small, invisible, unworthy of more. It convinces them that abundance is for other people, not for them. It creates desperation, and desperation leads to bad choices. Bad choices create more pain, and the cycle continues. But for the rich, Mammon wears a different face. The Spirit, what is wears a batter. The Spirit, for the rich, Mammon whispers, "You don't need God, you have money." It replaces faith with bank accounts. It replaces prayer with control. It replaces family with status. It replaces purpose with pride. The rich may never feel lack, but they often feel something colder, emptiness. No matter how much they gain, it is never enough. No matter how high they climb, they are never at peace. There is always one more deal, one more upgrade, one more milestone to chase. Mammon keeps them running, but never arriving. For the poor, it creates despair. For the rich, it creates pride. But the end is the same for both: separation from God. Because whether you are begging for money or bowed down to it, Mammon becomes your source, and whatever you see as your source becomes your real God. This is why Jesus spoke so strongly. He never condemned money itself. He exposed the danger of loving it, trusting it, depending on it. Mammon wants to sit on the throne of your heart. It wants to take the place that belongs to God alone. And until that throne is taken back, peace will always be just out of reach. There are people with very little who are free, joyful, full of fire and faith. And there are people with millions who live in invisible prisons, tormented by anxiety, control, and fear of losing everything. The chain is not in the wallet. The chain is in the mind. The chain is in the mind. The real freedom is not becoming rich. The real freedom is breaking Mammon's claim over you. Because when God is your source, then money becomes a tool, not a master, not a God, not a prison. And in that place, abundance can finally come, not to control you, but to flow through you. Chapter 5. Poverty. Mindset versus kingdom mindset. What truly keeps people trapped is not the size of their bank account. It is the shape of their thinking. The poverty mindset says, there is not enough. People like me never get ahead. If I don't hold on tightly, I will lose everything. The world is against me. This mindset is built on fear. It expects limitation. It prepares for failure. It looks at the future through the lens of the past. And when your mind is trained to see lack, you can walk straight past opportunity without ever noticing it. Because the poverty mindset is not just about money, it is about identity. It teaches you, you are small, you are unlucky, you are less than, you are not chosen. But the kingdom mindset speaks a completely different language. The kingdom mindset says, my God will supply all my needs. I am not abandoned. I am appointed. I am a child of the King. There is more than enough when God is my source. It is built on truth, not trauma, faith, not fear, promise, not past. In the kingdom of God, you are not a beggar. You are an heir. You are not waiting for scraps to fall from the table. You are invited to sit at the table. You are not defined by where you came from. You are defined by who created you. This is why simply giving a poor person money does not set them free. If the mind remains in chains, the hands will always find a way back to lack. Money can increase, but the mindset remains broken. This is the painful truth. Many people do not stay poor because of economics. They stay poor because they don't believe they were created for more. They are living beneath their identity. But the moment the mind begins to change, everything begins to change. The moment you stop saying, I can't, and start saying, through Christ I can. The moment you stop waiting to be rescued and start walking in obedience, heaven begins to respond. The kingdom mindset understands something Mammon hates. God is not limited by numbers. He is not restricted by resources. He is not threatened by your lack. He creates from nothing. He calls things that are not as though they are. He opens doors in deserts. He pours oil that never runs dry. You do not need to become someone else to change your life. You simply need to start thinking like who you really are, a child of a limitless God. And once your mind is no longer under Mammon's control, your future is no longer either. Chapter 6. Generational Chains and Spoken Curses. Most battles with Mammon did not even begin with you. They began in the words that were spoken over your family, long before you were born. We're just poor people. Money is dangerous. People like us never get ahead. You have to struggle in this life. These words may have sounded normal, practical, even protective. But words are not just sounds. Words are seeds. And the seeds planted into a child's heart become the forests they walk through as adults. Generational poverty is not only about the absence of money, it is about the inheritance of mindsets, fears, habits, and beliefs. Children do not just inherit eye color and last names. They inherit expectations. They inherit limits. They inherit the invisible ceiling their parents believed in. A father who believes, I will never succeed, passes that belief on without ever saying a word. A mother who lives in fear of bills teaches her children that the world is unsafe and unforgiving. A family that survives instead of dreams teaches the next generation to settle instead of rise. And Mammon feeds on these inherited identities. It does not need to attack you violently, because the message is already inside you. You grow up thinking, this is who I am. This is as far as we go. This is my fate. But here is the truth. Poverty may be in your bloodline, but it is not in your design. You do not belong to your past. You belong to God. And when God calls you his child, he literally gives you a new bloodline, a different inheritance, a different identity, a different future. The Bible says that in Christ, we are new creations. That means the old patterns do not have the final word. Chains only stay strong when no one dares to break them. And you were born for this moment, to be the first in your family line to say, it ends with me. No more fear. No more limitation, no more inherited hopelessness, no more cycles of lack. You are not dishonoring your family by rising higher. You are redeeming your bloodline. The enemy told your ancestors to bow to survival, but heaven is now telling you to stand in purpose. And the moment you choose truth over tradition, faith over fear, identity over history, you do not just change your life, you change the future of everyone who comes after you. Chapter 7. Jesus confronted Mammon directly. Mammon is not impressed by religion. It is not threatened by church attendance. It is not weakened by empty prayers. But there is one name that makes it tremble: Jesus. Everything Jesus did on earth was a direct confrontation with false systems, false gods, and false sources. And again he exposed Mammon for the fraud that it is. When thousands stood hungry in the wilderness, Jesus did not send them away. He did not tell them, "Figure it out yourselves." He did not say, "Go and buy food." Instead, he took what looked like not enough, 5 loaves and 2 fish, and he thanked God for it, and heaven responded. Bread multiplied, fish multiplied, abundance overflowed. What was Jesus doing in that moment? He was declaring war on scarcity. He was revealing that God, not money, not work, not systems, is the true source. He was showing that when God is involved, lack does not stand a chance. Another time, when tax collectors approached him, Jesus did not panic. He did not beg. He did not borrow. He sent Peter to a fish, and inside the mouth of that fish was a coin, a miracle of provision. Once again, Jesus was revealing a hidden truth. When God is your source, provision can come from impossible places. Mammon says, "You survive by what you see." Jesus says, "You live by faith." Mammon says, "Trust numbers, trust systems, trust yourself." Jesus says, "Trust the Father." This is not just a financial lesson, it is a worship lesson. Every time you worry about money more than you pray, every time you depend on income more than on God, every time your peace is tied to a bank balance, you are not just making a financial choice, you are making a spiritual one. Mammon is not defeated by more money. It is defeated by faith, by obedience, by surrender, by trust. Jesus confronted Mammon not only with miracles, but with his life. He owned no house, yet he changed the world. He carried no riches, yet he possessed all authority. He had no bank account, yet he lacked nothing. And through him, God was announcing to humanity, "You don't need Mammon to live. You need me." The power that raised Christ from the dead is the same power available to you. And when that power becomes your source, Mammon no longer decides your future. God does. Chapter 8. Breaking free from Mammon's power. Breaking free from Mammon does not start with your bank account. It starts with your agreement. As long as you agree with fear, lack, and limitation, Mammon still has influence. But the moment you decide, "This is no longer my master," the process of freedom begins. The first weapon is renewing your mind. Every time a thought of fear comes, you challenge it with truth. Every time your mind whispers, "There isn't enough," you answer, "My God is more than enough." Every time shame tries to rise, you replace it with identity. "I am a child of the King." This is spiritual warfare. The second weapon is stewardship. Mammon thrives in chaos, impulsive spending, no plan, no discipline, but wisdom destroys its hold. Budgeting is not just practical, it is spiritual. Planning is not just smart, it is obedience. Saving is not fear, it is stewardship. When you take responsibility over what God has given you, no matter how small, heaven begins to trust you with more. The third weapon is generosity. This may sound backwards, but it is one of the most powerful attacks against Mammon. Mammon says, "Hold on tightly. If you give, you will lose." God says, "Give, and it will be given to you." When you give, even in lack, you are declaring, "Mammon is not my source. God is." And heaven responds to faith. The fourth weapon is gratitude. Mammon feeds on complaining, comparing, and dissatisfaction. But gratitude breaks its atmosphere. When you thank God for what you already have, you are breaking the mindset of scarcity and opening the door for abundance. Gratitude is rebellion against fear, and the final weapon is surrender. True freedom comes not from trying harder, but from trusting deeper. When you say, "God, you are my provider, my covering, my source," you are stepping out of one kingdom and into another. Mammon cannot rule a life that has been fully surrendered to God. That does not mean money magically appears overnight. It means peace does. It means wisdom comes. It means doors open. It means new paths become visible. It means divine alignment begins. And over time, provision follows purpose. Because once mammon is removed from the throne of your heart, God takes his rightful place. And under the rule of God, you are no longer ruled by lack, fear, or anxiety. You are ruled by faith, peace, and divine abundance. Conclusion: choose your master today. There have always been two voices speaking into human lives. One voice is loud, anxious, demanding. It tells you to worry, to panic, to cling, to compete, to fear the future. It tells you that you are alone in this world, and that everything depends on your own strength, your own money, your own survival. This is the voice of Mammon. The other voice is gentle, steady, and eternal. It tells you to trust, to rest, to give, to obey, to rise higher than your circumstances. It reminds you that you are not abandoned, not forgotten, not destined for lack. This is the voice of God. Today you stand between those two voices. This message was never just about finances. It was never just about debt, or poverty, or wealth. It was about mastery. Who has been ruling your thoughts? Who has been shaping your decisions? Who has been defining your worth? Because poverty is not your true enemy. Fear is, and the one who uses fear to rule is Mammon. But there is a greater power than Mammon, a greater authority than money, a greater kingdom than any earthly system. It is the kingdom of God. And in that kingdom, you are not a slave. You are not a beggar. You are not a victim of circumstances, or upbringing, or economy, or history. You are a child of the Most High. Today you break agreements with fear. Today you reject the voice of lack. Today you stop bowing to a false god, and instead, you say, even if your hands are still empty, even if your situation has not yet changed, even if the numbers do not yet look different, God, you are my source. That one decision, spoken in the heart, made in faith, is more powerful than any bank balance. It is the moment a slave remembers they are royalty. It is the moment a prisoner realizes the door has been open all along. It is the moment Mammon loses, and God takes his place again. Your life is not ending in lack. It is beginning in freedom. It is beginning in purpose. It is beginning in divine alignment. The spirit of Mammon has been exposed. Now the only question left is, who will you serve?